Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and the Bitcoin price has finally had a bullish breakout above this massive line of resistance. This video will be an important one to watch all the way to the end because I'll be talking about my next Bitcoin price target and some important levels of support that we need to be paying attention to, and so much more later in this video. But starting off here on the daily Bitcoin chart, we have finally seen a confirmed break above 45,000 with a daily candle close, and not only a daily candle close, but of course a weekly candle close because yesterday was the end of the week. And obviously for those of you that have been watching my recent Bitcoin update videos, especially over the past few days, you would know that this bullish breakout was the more likely scenario to occur based on multiple signals that we're seeing on the chart, like for example a breakout in the daily Bitcoin RSI and also an increase in Bitcoin's bullish momentum. And this massive Bitcoin fractal is still active on the chart. Of course, this is comparing the 2022 price action to the Bitcoin price action that we saw at the end of the 2018 bear market leading into the beginning of 2019. And you can see in this previous example, as the Bitcoin price broke out at the end of March and beginning of April, the Bitcoin price continued to explode to the upside without any sort of retest, so just keep that in mind. But now that the Bitcoin price has finally broken above key resistance out of this sideways price range, where could Bitcoin be heading to next? And well, to answer that, let's take a look at the Fibonacci levels on the daily Bitcoin charts. And as of right now, at the time of recording this video, the Bitcoin price is currently running into the 50% level, which is sitting just below $48,000 per Bitcoin. So if you're talking about the immediate short term, 48K is an important level to break above. But other than that short term point of resistance, the next significant level of resistance on the larger timeframes is the golden pocket, sitting at around $52,000 to $53,000 per Bitcoin. And even if you're looking back in Bitcoin's history, for example, the beginning of the September correction, we found a lot of resistance at around 52,000 to 53,000. We also found some short term support at around 53,000 at the end of November 2021, and some resistance again at around 52,000 during the end of 2021. So those are the next important levels of resistance that I am paying attention to moving forward. And as for some levels of support, of course, as we break above previous resistance, technically speaking, that does act as new support. So 45K to 46K should be acting as support for the Bitcoin price right now, in case we do end up seeing a short-term rejection from around 48,000. But as I just said earlier, I wouldn't necessarily bet the farm on a retest happening, because in this previous example in early 2019, those waiting for a retest for this breakout simply missed out on this massive run from around $4,000 to $13,000, which, as I said earlier, is something to consider. So personally, let's just say if I did not accumulate at these lower levels, personally right now, I would simply be dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. But of course, that is not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I would do in a situation where I didn't accumulate at these lows, which obviously I did if you've been watching my videos over the past few months. And when you zoom out to the weekly Bitcoin chart, bringing out the 20-week simple moving average, which is actually one of the most important moving averages for Bitcoin, we have officially seen a weekly candle close above the 20-week SMA, which is obviously a bullish signal. If you simply take a look at some other times throughout Bitcoin's history where the Bitcoin price confirmed a break above this important moving average, we saw exactly that happen in early 2019, and obviously you can see what came next in the Bitcoin price. We also saw this happen in early 2020, but of course we had that black swan event where we saw the stock market have its biggest crash since the Great Recession in 2008. And so clearly having the stock market play out a massive crash during March 2020 had a major effect on the Bitcoin price as well. But even then, this turned out to be more of a neutral signal rather than a false signal altogether, because if you bought at the breakout and sold as the price broke back underneath, you would have basically sold at a break even rather than a massive loss. And then of course, if you're looking at the very next breakout above this importance moving average, that was during April 2020, and then we retested this moving average later in the year in October 2020 before Bitcoin absolutely exploded to the upside towards around 65,000. Then Bitcoin broke back below this moving average during May 2021, and then we entered a bit of a bearish time in the market for a couple more months before we saw another breakout here late July, early August. And then of course the Bitcoin price stayed in that bullish trend for the next few months until around November, where Bitcoin broke back below this moving average and played out a couple more months worth of bearish price action, just like the middle of last year. And now that the Bitcoin price has confirmed a weekly candle close above this important moving average, this is clearly a bullish signal for the larger timeframes, because more often than not, after we see a break above this moving average on the weekly chart, we see at least a multi-month uptrend most of the time. And now giving you a quick update on the percentage of Bitcoin short positions on the Binance exchange and the Bybit exchange. And what is very interesting is the fact that the Bitcoin price has clearly broken above key resistance and looking more bullish. Meanwhile, we are still seeing close to record record amount of people shorting Bitcoin, which basically means there's still a massive amount of people in the market betting on the Bitcoin price going down. And what years and years worth of Bitcoin's history shows us is normally when that is happening, more bullish price action is just around the corner because the Bitcoin market likes to wreck the majority out there. You can simply see for yourself on this chart right here, that's pretty much every single time where we see a massive amount of people in the market short Bitcoin. Those time periods normally align with great buying opportunities in the Bitcoin price. And already the spike in short positions that we saw at the end of January and the beginning of February turned out to be a great buying opportunity. And we have only just seen another massive spike in short positions within the last few days or so. And for any of the beginners out there, the reason why this is bullish for the Bitcoin price on the larger time frames is because as the Bitcoin price continues to go to the upside, this is going to force more and more people to close their short positions. And when you close a Bitcoin short position, you have to buy back into Bitcoin to cover that short position, which of course adds more buying pressure to the Bitcoin price, pushing the price further to the upside, which forces more short positions to close and adds more buying pressure, and the cycle repeats. And that is what is known as a short squeeze, and we do indeed have the ingredients ready on the chart for another possible short squeeze. Also, when you're looking at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, specifically looking in the RSI and the MACD, these two important Bitcoin indicators on the 3-day time frame have already been in a bullish reversal for the past 1 to 2 months, and so it is no surprise that the Bitcoin price itself is now starting a bullish reversal. And when you're zooming all the way out to the weekly Bitcoin chart, looking at the weekly Bitcoin MACD, right now we are seeing a bullish cross. Now, considering the fact that this bullish cross is happening on this week's candle, we still need to see at least a weekly candle close to actually confirm this weekly bullish cross in the MACD. But if you simply take a look at the last bullish cross that we saw in the Bitcoin weekly MACD, that was back in early August last year, and obviously you can see what happened next in the Bitcoin price. But what is different about this bullish cross is the fact that the MACD is sitting in negative territory, whereas the previous bullish cross just last year, the MACD was sitting in positive territory. So if you're zooming all the way out on the weekly Bitcoin chart, taking a look at Bitcoin's entire price history ever since it began trading against the dollar in 2010, having a bullish crossover in the weekly Bitcoin MACD when the MACD is in negative territory is actually a very rare signal. In fact, throughout Bitcoin's 12 years worth of Bitcoin price history, there has only ever been 4 other time periods throughout Bitcoin's entire price history where we have seen this same bullish signal play out. Now, technically speaking, the last bullish signal that we had in early 2020 was actually 2 bullish crosses in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, but they were broken apart from that black swan event that happened during March 2020. But those 2 bullish crosses that happened close together still pretty much played out as the one, which is why I mentioned there was only 4 other time periods where we've seen this bullish signal on the chart. And so what we are seeing right now is potentially the 5th ever time that this has happened, or technically the 6th if you're counting those 2 small bullish crosses in early 2020, which, as I said earlier, is an extremely rare opportunity. And if you simply take a look for yourself in the Bitcoin chart at all of the other time periods where we have seen this bullish signal, you really get to see just how bullish this signal is for Bitcoin. But if you're zooming into the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, right now all 3 of these indicators are still pointing in the bullish direction. So clearly the short-term price trend for Bitcoin is a bullish trend. But keep in mind the 12-hour Bitcoin RSI is currently in overbought territories. And even if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin chart, we're approaching overbought territories as well. So technically speaking, this could be a short-term bearish signal. But even though this could result in a short-term cool-off in the Bitcoin price, the short-term bullish trend clearly has not reversed, at least just yet. And so for as long as the Bitcoin price simply remains above around 45 to 46,000, we are looking much more bullish here on the larger timeframes as well. And just taking a quick look at the Bitcoin order books across all of these exchanges, and you can see that right here, we have a massive amount of sell orders in the Bitcoin order books up until around 48,000, which confirms the technical analysis that I talked about in the beginning of this video, where 48,000 could be acting as some short-term resistance for the Bitcoin price. But you can notice here in the sell orders that after we get above 48,000, the sell order starts flattening out compared to what we're seeing below 48,000, which basically means if the Bitcoin price starts breaking above 48k, we don't have a lot of resistance above 48,000 until we start getting into the low $50,000 price range. But I want to make it clear that even though the Bitcoin trend is currently a bullish trend, that does not mean we're only going to see bullish price action every single day, because even during bullish trends in the Bitcoin price, we still see some short-term bearish price action from time to time. So even if the Bitcoin price plays out a few days worth of bearish price action, that is perfectly okay, and the larger timeframes will still remain very bullish for as long as the Bitcoin price remains above that 45k level. And by the way, if you want to get extra updates on the crypto markets throughout the day, make sure to follow me over on my Twitter for real-time updates just like this. And you can find a link to my official Twitter in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. But anyway, if you found this video useful or simply enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. And if you want to maximize your profits in the crypto markets, whether or not prices are going up or down, then these two videos popping up right here on your screen are definitely for you to watch. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.